Fritz's secret. Was it really going to be that easy? Was Fritz going to take me right to the rest of the plans for Project 1065? He brought one of the pages to school to show me before he ever really knew me. Maybe now he was going to show me the rest. I kept my eyes on the top of the stairs as I followed him, making sure not to look down. Watching us from the railing up above was Fritz's little sister Lena. Watching me, I should say. Her big, wide eyes followed me all the way up the stairs. When I made the turn to follow Fritz back down the hall, I looked over my shoulder. She was still staring at me, expressionless, with those big saucer-like eyes. "Fritz, your sister really is super creepy." Fritz shrugged like he was used to it. I followed Fritz into his room. It was fairly Spartan, with a small gray bed, a wooden desk and chair, and an old brown bureau against the wall. Drawings of airplanes were pinned to the wall. Unfortunately, they weren't the jet fighter plans, just pictures of propeller planes shooting dotted lines at tanks on the ground. Fritz went straight to his closet and pulled out a small wooden crate from the back. I frowned. If these were the secret jet fighter plans, this was an awfully strange place to hide them. Fritz hesitated, looking at me one last time, as though making sure I could be trusted, and lifted the lid. Inside were stacks of sheet music, like you'd use to play a piano. I frowned. Then Fritz pulled away the music sheets and revealed what was hidden underneath. Mystery novels. British and American mystery novels. My disappointment at not finding the plans right away was quickly replaced by my amazement at seeing the treasure trove of books. "Detective books," I said. "So that's where you were getting all those English words. And that's why you couldn't burn those books at the bonfire." Fritz relaxed visibly. "You like them too?" "I thought you might, being English." "Irish," I said. "But yeah, I just read The Maltese Falcon. My friend said—" I caught myself, horrified that I'd almost said Simon's name. Almost told Fritz that the British Jewish pilot hiding in my house had introduced me to detective novels. But Fritz had just trusted me with his deep, dark secret. A secret that could get him and his family shipped off to a concentration camp. Did that mean I could trust him, too? "A friend back in Ireland got me hooked," I said instead. I still couldn't do it. Once you got in the habit of keeping secrets, it was hard to stop. We spent a happy hour on the floor poring over the novels and talking about our favorite scenes. We promised to swap books from our collections, but of course we had to keep the whole thing hidden from sight. Fritz's collection was a big secret, but not the one I'd been hoping to discover in this house. I still had to find the plans for Project 1065. Would I find them in time to get them to the Allies to counter the Nazi jet fighters before they turned the tide of the war? I would just have to come back to Fritz's house as often as I could and find some excuse to go snooping around. Fritz's mother called him and Lena to dinner, and Fritz walked me to the door. I was pulling on my coat when I saw a messy room through a half-closed doorway off the downstairs hallway. A large desk was covered with stacks of paper and slide rules, and a drafting table stood nearby covered with larger sheets of white paper. "Oh, that's my dad's study," Fritz said. He stepped inside and I followed. All over the walls, pinned up around and on top of one another, were a dozen sheets of big blue paper with engineering schematics drawn on them. "It's the jet plane he's working on," Fritz said. "The one I showed you before." He put his arms out like airplane wings and zoomed around the room. I blinked stupidly. I think my mouth hung open. There they were, out for anyone to see, plain as day. The blueprints for Project 1065. I wouldn't have to go snooping for them after all. There were too many to memorize all in one day, and Fritz's mother wouldn't exactly let me sit in here and stare at them while they had dinner. But I would be back tomorrow after school, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, for as long as it took. The plans for Project 1065 were mine.